Hey, wake your ass up. Let's go. It's race time.
And there we go. Welcome to 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm here with my co-host, as always, fuck Fabio.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, have you been fucking this week, Fabio?
I've been fucking a lot.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I am glad to hear that.
So there you go.
Have you been relying on your right-hand man, or did you have someone in mind?
Oh, it's a cooperation. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a team effort. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't left anybody behind, you know. Get jealous. Yeah.
Superb. Just a quick say hello to the crowd that have gathered. So good evening, Bub Elvis.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. He says, I wonder what the amount of hardware damage will be for this weekend. Well, by the sounds of it, there's quite a lot of hardware damage on Fabio's end.
You know what? You'd be surprised.
I happen to have been watching your videos this week, Fabio, and so
Yeah.
I know.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
And they're fine. Everybody sub to Fabio's channel. He's got some amazing motorcycle videos. Okay, I guess we better get on with the alleged show.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a bit nonplussed this weekend, but never mind. We're going to do the best for everybody out there. That's you, bub. That's you.
Yeah.
Okay, so simple race recap this weekend. In first place, as you can tell by the thumbnail, was You Beauty! George Russell in his first pole position in the Hungaro Grand Prix. Fantastic effort by the lad in qualifying. Mercedes nowhere through the weekend, nowhere through the pre-practices, and then it suddenly came alive once they'd figured out how to warm up their tyres, which surprised me. And basically tyres were a lot to do with this weekend. I don't mention that lightly. So anyway, in pole position was a fantastic George Russell. Second place was Leclerc. Third place was Sainz, and fourth place was Norris. The Red Bull suffering all sorts of problems this weekend, and it was set to be a race where Ferrari could really capitalise on the mistakes of others, namely Red Bull. And the outlier George Russell allegedly showing no problems for the Ferraris because they had better pace during the practices. However, as we'll find out, it was not set to be that way. 5 lights went out. George Russell on the soft tyres, a fantastic start from Leclerc and Sainz. In fact, Sainz was in second place, I think. Anyway, nonetheless, Sainz going round the first corner first. Oh, George going round the first corner first, getting away well. The 2 Ferraris followed. Then Lewis Hamilton going off the track, coming up behind Norris. Both Ferraris immediately, of course, with the warm-up problems that the Mercedes had, all over the back of George, and in fact Leclerc really threatening, trying to get his tyres up to temperature straight away. Fantastic start, lots of action. The Alpines doing very well. The Red Bulls coming from 10th and 11th place up to 7th, 8th very quickly behind the Alpines. They were to prove no problem in this race. They just didn't have the race pace. Nobody really starting on hard tyres, a couple of people at the back. And the hard tyre was to prove the tyre not to have. Then once again, Verstappen cutting his way through with Perez past the... what do you call them? Alpines. Past the Alpines. Yeah, I'd forgotten there. I was just going to say shit because of last week. But I don't know. There were a couple of mobile turds on the track. That's all I know. And basically the Rebels had to get past. They did, of course. By lap 12, they easily got past. So then it was Russell first, Sainz second, Leclerc third. Of course, once Leclerc got up to speed, that was no problem. Hamilton into 4th place, overtaking a lovely overtaking to turn 1, I must say, on Norris, with Verstappen following him through. It wasn't long before Verstappen was to get by. Of course, Verstappen being on soft tyres as well. Lap 22 then, the first pit stops happen. Leclerc off his medium tyres and back onto another set of mediums. A bit of a strange timing of that, really, because you know, who's to say why a Ferrari will or will not pit, though, honestly. Lap 30, Leclerc then back up, having used his tyres up, back up behind Russell. Sorry, it was Sainz that pitted, I beg your pardon. Left Sainz. Leclerc out for the extra laps. Leclerc then, and a fantastic move into turn 1 past Russell. Really showed the lad how to use the brakes. And I think that was a lesson put on Russell, really. Again, I think Leclerc driving superbly. Lap 39, in comes Verstappen, really making his tyres last. 2.4 seconds pit stops, very quick as usual. Then, of course, Leclerc follows him up. And for some reason, I say reason, I may be using that word incorrectly, Fabio. I don't know. Reason may be too strong a word to use at this point, but Leclerc put onto, and I'm going to say put onto instead of chose, put onto hard tyres. Now, all weekend, the hard tyres had not worked. All weekend, all through the practices, everybody that touched the hard tyre just went, came straight back in after a lap and went, no, they're useless, they're not gaining any temperature. Then, Ferrari, in the face of all reason, decided to put Leclerc onto the hard tyres. Now, in some sense, you could see what they were going for, because at this stage, there was 30 laps to go. Probably, obviously, the boy Leclerc had to use a different set of tyres, so the only options were hard or soft. Now, as it turns out, soft was clearly the choice to make. However, Ferrari must have gambled on the thought that they could get the hard tyres working, in which case he could make it to the end, and then presumably would have a chance to overtake Hamilton and, of course, easily get past Sainz. However, this was not to be, because, of course, all weekend the hard tyres hadn't worked. So that was just, I don't know what that was. We're going to say, well, I do know what that was, actually, thinking about it. But let me just say it to you in the only way which I can really... Intanto tutte puttane di Navarro. Okay, is that right, Fabio? Did I say that correctly?
It's close enough. It's really close enough. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Really.
So I don't know. same old, I guess, is what I'm saying there. Same shit again. Same shit, different day. Something like that. Anyway, there we go. Leclerc then started dropping like a stone, dropped away from Hamilton, had an easy overtake from Verstappen. The boy must have been pissed. That's all I'm saying. The boy must have been real pissed, having driven so well at the beginning part of the race. He gave up he put a fight up against Verstappen, and unlike most people that jump out the way when Verstappen's anywhere near, due to life, limb, and injury, he didn't do that. However, then he got past Verstappen again. Why? Because Verstappen stuck his foot down on the corner and did a 360. This boy has more luck, right, than his old man did in his whole career, just in this one race. Okay? I mean, he does a 360, drops the hammer down, really sticks his foot on the accelerator, and still manages to stay on circuit. I have no idea how. Anyway, great skills. Upon overtaking Perez, because Perez also managed to get by, Perez then couldn't re-overtake, so that let Russell by, which was great. Just astonishing. I mean, astonishing reactions for Verstappen. Obviously, he realised and he knew what he was doing there, but nonetheless, normally that would have ended up in the wall. However, there we go. So Verstappen then basically on soft tyres, back up again behind Leclerc, and this time the overtake was a lot easier coming out corners because, of course, Leclerc's tyres had worn somewhat, and he didn't have the traction anymore. This left him vulnerable also to George, who obviously just managed to get better traction out of the last corner and overtake him into turn one. At this point, I'm thinking, well, I'm not actually. At this point, I'm thinking the same thing I thought last week, which of course, wow, monitor sales in Italy. How many monitors must they? They probably have a monitor shortage in Italy at this point, because I could imagine another 5 to 10 million monitors just going in the trash can straight away. However, they called him back into the pits for the 5th or 6th or 7th time. I don't know how many pit stops he really did in this race. I forgot to count. Who cares? They put him on soft tyres, which was the move they should have done first, of course. At least giving him a chance. And he comes out in order, at least, hopefully, to do the fastest lap, which I think he did.
He did.
He did. However,
no, he didn't.
He didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't. No. Oh,
no, he didn't.
Well, not even that worked.
Not even that worked.
Lewis this time had pitted again. Lewis was back onto soft tyres. That gave it an even match, and unfortunately, I think, to be honest, with DRS, Leclerc didn't prove too much of a problem. And basically, that's how the race was almost about to finish. Lewis came up behind Russell, who was on yellow tyres and trying to make it to the end. The pace of Lewis on red tyres and soft tyres was too quick. By lap 70, the last lap of the race, Verstappen won by, I don't know, 10 seconds, something like that, 7 or 8 seconds. Easy race win for Verstappen. I think he was handed it, really. Even with the spin, he still managed to win. So I think he would have won considerably, but a lot easier if he hadn't have made mistakes and had car problems in qualifying. And that was basically it. That was basically the race. So just leave this running, Peter, because there's not a lot to say really about the order they finished in. But let's have the race results up. The race results were Verstappen, Sir Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, great third place considering pole position, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez in 5th, Charles Leclerc's disappointing 6th. Just running, Peter. 7th, Norris, 8th, Alonso. Ocon in 9th place, 10th place for the last point, Sebastian Vettel. 11th place, Stroll. 12th place, Gasly. 13th place, Jean Roux. Mick Schumacher, 14th place. 15th, Daniel Ricciardo, disappointing. Kevin Magnussen, the Haas, 16th place. 17th place, Alex Albon, good result for him. 18th place, Nicholas TV, keeping pace with Albon, good show. Yuki Tsunoda, disappointing. Bottas did not finish. And there we go. That was the Hungarian Grand Prix. And just a couple of things. Yeah, it was an amazing spin. Obviously, once he lost it, he knew what he was going to do. I feel it was a little bit lucky, but nonetheless, great reactions from Verstappen. Probably the highlight of the race was seeing him spin and save it and not wear his tyres out. Amazing. So there we go. Thank you so much, Bob. I was saying it's the best show ever. I'm going to pass it over to Fabio.
Okay, so let me talk about everybody else, and then we can dive into the painful part. The weekend was interesting. They had a lot of. Friday was really hot. On Saturday they had showers. Sunday they were waiting for rain, but it was really cold. It was like, I think that the track was 25 degrees less than on Friday, so way colder. Great race by Max Verstappen. He had an excellent pace. He would have probably won anyway. But yeah, I mean, he drove really well. I can't really say anything about the guy. He drove well. The pace was good. The car was okay. It wasn't, I don't think it was the best he was thinking about, but it was good enough, and he drove fantastically. Mercedes had a very unexpected pace. I think it has to do a little bit with the kind of track. Maybe they found something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the car really performs well with those kind of temperatures. If that's the case, I don't know. They should probably. Toto Wolff will probably petition to run the F1 next season, starting in January. Oh, maybe November, and ending on May. And probably racing in Iceland, in Sweden, in places like that. Because I think the temperatures had a lot to do with the performances of the Mercedes car. But anyway, Lewis raced a very good race, very consistent race. It was his kind of race, the kind of race where you have to manage tires, digest, be really careful. So yeah,
He is a Hungary specialist.
Yes, there is that too. I mean, he loves that, so yeah. What else? The Alpine, gave us a little bit of a thrill, especially with Ocon. Ocon seems to be that either wants to kill Alonso or he can't stand the guy. I have no fucking idea what's the problem between the two of them, but he almost managed to put him on the wall at the start, and then at the restart, he made everything in his power not to let Alonso pass, and allowing Ricciardo to make a fantastic overtake, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, other teams, Aston Martin, a little bit disappointing. Alpha Tauri, I don't know if they even raced. Alfa Romeo, Bottas had a problem with the engine or with something. We didn't know if it was the engine. I don't think it was the...
No, I don't think it was the engine. Yeah. Electronics, I think they said.
Yeah, maybe it was electronics, yeah. Who else? McLaren, I was waiting a little bit more from them, judging from the kind of track, and the way that the car seemed to be progressing a little bit. It was, I wouldn't say disappointing, but I mean, was probably they finished where they're supposed to finish, so they did their job, nothing spectacular.
Again, Norris really showing his class once more.
Yeah. And then there is the Ferraris. Now, this is okay. Let me start from the end. After the race, I listened to 3 distinct interviews, one from Sainz, one from Binotto, and one from Leclerc. So Binotto, it was actually quite a hard interview that he made for Sky Italy. They pressed him a bit. There was some tension during the replies. Basically, what he said was that, I don't know about the strategy. My main problem is that the car didn't perform as it was supposed to be performing, and then we'll look into the strategy. But our main problem was that the car wasn't performing as well, and he pointed out to Sainz performance. He was really keen to avoid what Leclerc did. He was pointing to what Sainz did. Fair enough. Sainz interview said he said that the car wasn't performing well with any kind of tires. It has to be said that after the race they found a big plastic bag, like a huge one, which was into the I don't know how they called in English, the opening on the side pods, the one that they look like scales.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Right,
I don't know what they're called in English either.
Well, anyway,
That's because
let's
I'm
call-
Italian. I don't know if you
Yeah.
knew that.
No, sorry about that. So let's call them, these, side scales, whatever the fuck. They found a huge bag of plastic in there. That might have been why the car was performing poorly aerodynamically, I think, because it was really big. I mean, there is a picture somewhere. I haven't it with me, but it was huge. I mean, it was really big, and it was inside, so you could see only a little bit from coming from one end, but it was going through. So yeah, there was.
I think it was rumored that was the bag that Leclerc normally puts his balls in.
Yes. It was just the sides, just about the sides. And then Leclerc interview, he said, I don't know what happened. I mean, he said that the car was doing well. I had a good pace with all the tires. And then we made that choice. He doesn't want to talk about it, but he said the car was great. Now, who do we have to believe? I think there might be. So, first of all, let me express again my disdain for Binotto as he's an engineer. We talked about it. Blah 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 blah. It's a fucking, that guy is a fucking mess, right? Because he couldn't get any personal responsibility or the team responsibility, nothing at all. That was, if you think about the reaction of Leclerc last race, when he said it was my fault, was also all my fault, it's all my fault, don't look at it. The guy, he blamed the car, he blamed, I don't know, the weather, grasshoppers, cholera, I don't know, he blamed a lot of things, and then he said, and then maybe we made a problem with the strategy, and we only made one mistake. That's what he said. I shit you not. Said during the year, this would be the first mistake that we make. That is Mattia Binotto. Right. Yes. Right. I think there was a mix of a problem. It is true that the car wasn't performing as well. If you look at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Ferrari had gone downhill in performances. Even if, I don't look at Friday too much because you don't know what kind of program all the other cars, do, or that kind of stuff. So it's really difficult to understand the pace. But the car wasn't performing as well, so I think they made some kind of mistake. The problem is that it seems to be they made some kind of mistake only on Sainz's car. Because, again, by Leclerc's words and from what we could see, Leclerc was doing pretty okay, with the medium tires.
Yeah,
I
said, his overtake on Russell was superb.
Yes, it was amazing.
Absolutely superb.
I don't know if he would have been able to win the race. That I am not super positive about it because, again, I think that Max had a fantastic pace. But his position at the end should not have been the sixth position. That is, beyond any problem. So let me tell you where I think they fucked it up. At the start, they started with yellow tires, and so Russell had soft tires, and I think that Verstappen and Perez had soft tires. Nothing wrong with the yellow tires. They were thinking that the rain was going to come in about 20 minutes, stuff like that. It would have been the perfect window for the yellow tires. They were afraid of a lot of graining on the track because everything has been washed out by the rain. The graining was that severe, but I couldn't understand the concern. So nothing wrong with yellow tires at the start. Perfect. You're starting in second or third position. It's really difficult to overtake. Okay, fantastic. That is textbook. Perfect. Now, here is where the problem began to arise. Verstappen changes tires at around, I think, lap 17. Right? There is an ambulance coming because they're coming.
Yeah. Because I understand another monitor's been destroyed.
Yes.
Someone's watching the replay. Yeah.
Yes. So this is where I'm starting to actually losing my shit because Ferrari laps. Sainz stops at lap 18, and he was on medium tires, right?
Yeah.
And Leclerc stops at lap 21 on medium tires. So 2 laps and 1 lap after the guy with the soft tire stops. This is where I'm starting to lose my shit. Because, okay, you're doing opposite. So you're starting with medium tires. The guy has to stop before you, the guy with the soft tires. You go longer, right? And then eventually you see what happens. No, they stop 1 lap after the guy. So why the fuck did they put medium tires? Fuck me if I know, right? Leclerc wasn't losing that much of a pace. Everything was going okay, and they decided to stop. This is where I'm starting to sweat a lot. Lap 40, Leclerc stops again. It's like 19 laps on the second set of medium tires. I'm beyond losing my shit. I'm just saying, okay, I hope that nobody gets on the podium because these guys are fucking idiots. He stops at lap 40 and he gets some white tires. Hard tires have never worked through the whole weekend. They did not work on Friday where the tarmac was 25 degrees hotter than on Sunday.
Yep.
Alpine put white tires, I think, 10 laps before, because they were going for a strategy with only one change of tires. Of course, they started with yellow and then went, white to go, through the end. When Alpine changed to hard tires, I saw the data. They've never been able to lit a green sector. And the green sector means that it's your best sector, right? It's not a purple sector, the best of everybody. The green. So once they changed to white tires, they were consistently slower than the yellow tires, even after 10, 12, 15 laps, where supposedly the white tires kicks in, it gets into the range. They were never able to do that. And they saw that. Haas made the same thing. The times went to shit. They decided to go. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, not just Magnussen, right? Magnussen couldn't warm them up. Now he is renowned for beating the shit out of his tires, and he couldn't get the fucking hard tires to work.
Right.
Now, another you know, I mean, it's a
No,
it's a
it's
Ferrari
no.
car. It's the Haas, right? So there's very similar things to Ferrari on it. Why did they expect that they could get the hard tires working?
I have no fucking idea. I really have no idea, and this is what you know. I really lost my mind because it made no sense.
Yeah.
What they should have done is to you start with yellow, you go longer with yellow, so you end up at about I don't know lap 30 or 40, whatever the fuck, you know, and then you if you want because they had new yellow tires you can do yellow red, right? You can do
Yeah.
that. You would have some chances.
Yeah. Well, that's what
White
Lewis did.
tires, yes, Lewis did that, and they say, oh, he went, but he finished ahead of Sainz, so that the problem was the car. Well, first of all, you know, you're just looking at Sainz, which is, you know, you're comparing Hamilton and Sainz. All due respect to the guys, but you should really compare Hamilton to Leclerc or to Verstappen, if in my book, right? But anyway, Sainz apparently had some issues with the car. If you see from the data that Sainz has issues with the car, that comparison doesn't stand, right? So this is why I was so angry with Binotto, because he knows he's talking bullshit. He knows.
Of course
right?
he does.
But he fucking knows. And he knew it before we did, before we found out about the plastic bag and the thing which might have been compromised. So he knew it from the get-go, but was very keen to point out, oh, see what Sainz did. And also, it is true that they made the same strategy, but they made it at different laps. So Sainz lost, I think the first pit stop was 3.7 seconds and the second one was 4.6. So they lost about 4 or 5 seconds just from the get-go, you know, for mistakes at the pit stop, which might happen. But also, they put back in the track in a way worse position than Hamilton was. So again, comparison fucked up. I'm really. I think I wrote it to you. I was really happy that Ferrari didn't even go to the podium, because now they haven't even got that puny little excuse that at least we save result. That was that was fucking unbelievable to watch and really painful. I have no idea what the fuck they did that. And again, you know, it's just like it's a bunch of pussies and puppies, you know. They go for the safest thing, really. I mean, you went with white tires because you want to be safe. I mean,
that's not even safe.
Look,
Sorry,
well,
that's not even
listen,
safe.
Look at your fucking car, right? It's fucking red. It says 75 on the side. That has been how many years you've been racing in F1. You're chasing your competitor and you take no risks. Really? You think you can win the championship by hoping that Red Bull is gonna fucked up some way? You are mental. And you got a hell of a car. It's a very nice car. You got a driver which is super motivated, and you just played safe. I'm sorry. It's when I said, you know, last time, and then I shut up. I promise. But when I said last time that, you know, you remember I said I'm afraid that, you know, they're not ready to win the world championship because you know they have all the ingredients of the recipe, but they got to, you know, to figure out the cooking time and all that shit. That is, you know, I don't know. I might have been Nostradamus, right? Because that was quite
just
scary.
to point out, he was shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
There you go. Just to say this, look, Mercedes, in the difficult years, Mercedes said, "We've got the best car. What we should not do is look at our competitors and second guess their strategy. We have to dictate the strategy because we have the fastest car. We are going to go out front right? And we're going to have the best strategy for the fastest car. And that's how
Right.
we're going to win races. Now, Ferrari, from the beginning of this year, have had the best car, right? Very marginally, but still the best car.
Yeah.
And one thing they've not done, pretty much, all right, apart from a few circuits, okay?
Yeah.
And what they've not done, right, is be proactive for their own preferred strategy. What
Right.
they've done is hedged their bets against Verstappen and his two-party strategy of having a second place driver that's going to back him up regardless.
Right.
Okay, and that is, I don't understand it. Mercedes said 4 years ago that they literally almost lost the championship because they did that.
Yes.
Because they exactly did that when they had the fastest car. They never made that mistake again, and this is why they've won so many in a row. That's why they won 8 in a row, right? It's because they didn't second guess. They said, right, we are going to build the fastest car, and we're going to put the most downforce on it we can, and we're going to drive and pretend that every time we're going to be on pole, we're going to drive away. Now, if Leclerc had been on soft tyres at the beginning, like you said, okay, he would have overtaken Russell. He would have got away, provided science hadn't got in the way, of course. Right, and there you go, and that's it. That's exactly what we're talking about. They are second guessing themselves in order to react to Red Bull's strategy.
Yeah, but
right?
keep in mind that I was fine with both of them starting on yellow tires. To be totally fair, I would have loved if they put yellow tires on Leclerc and red tires on Sainz, or vice versa. Well. I mean, just to split, the strategy, just to mix a little bit. But yellow tires on both, I can see that. Hungary is really difficult to overtake. I'm cool with that. A little bit more bolts would be appreciated. Yeah, but I can live with that. But then it's uncanny. If they don't put pressure on Red Bull now, they're never gonna achieve anything. That kind of approach was okay at the beginning when the points were there or Leclerc was slightly ahead. Now you need the other guy to react. The other guy has to make something crazy. Right, I'm cool with that. But now you're behind. Those guys, they rarely do mistakes. They don't do mistakes. I mean, actually, Verstappen did the first mistake of the season on Sunday, right? I mean, he had a spin and he won. So that is the mistake they're gonna make. Is he lucky? Yeah, he's been lucky too. Okay, fuck it, deal with it. You are behind, you got to put pressure on the guys. You put white tires. This is how you put pressure on Red Bull? Really?
Yeah.
So, it's unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Okay, let's just now react to a few questions here in the side chat from Mr. Elvis. Leclerc now has to catch Verstappen with more than 9 points per race for him to become champion.
I think that the championship is over. And I'm saying that unless something, massive happens, something.
Sure.
I mean, massive, even, breakdowns from Red Bull or, massive amount of unluck, to Verstappen. Something has to happen, and it has to happen more than once. So I think
3 times, in fact, 3 times we need Verstappen to have a DNF.
Yes.
It's possible. It's possible. Thinking about Lewis coming back, he did 50 points.
Right.
It's possible. But of course, now we've got this break, right? We would expect Red Bull to get on top of some of their engine issues. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's particularly likely either, Bub. And I think it's a walk away. This one's a walk away for Red Bull. And no wonder the other teams are now ganging up to try and get some, to try and get a little bit of, shall we say, to try and get the rules changed slightly in order for safety reasons, allegedly. And hopefully that'll at least peg Red Bull back a little bit.
Yeah, there might be something happening in Spa. You're right. I forgot about that. But, I mean, unless Red Bull shows up to be such a finicky car that it will, it won't be able to get, those rules, and Ferrari for some reason is. I mean, that is a thing which might happen, but again, it's 80 points, 80. So I have no big hopes for that.
Yeah.
The only good thing, what I'm really hoping that is going to happen is that now that Leclerc has way less pressure on him, he will be able to actually say what he thinks on the radio during the race. Because apparently, and this I'm not sure of, because I wasn't listening to Ferrari radios, but apparently Leclerc wanted to go longer, at least with the first stint of yellow tires. But again, this is hearsay. I have no idea. I haven't heard the radio. It's just somebody which said that he might have said that. So I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised. But again, if he did and they didn't listen, I hope that now that the championship is gone, he has way less to lose. And if he feels there's something that has to be done, he will tell them, no, we're doing this. I'm not getting back to the pit, or stuff like that.
Yeah. So you remember the difference here as well. Hamilton saying tires feel good, don't need to come in yet. Tires feel good. There you go. That's all he needed to say. Leclerc could have just said, no, tires are fine.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he needed to say. I'm just saying, maybe they would have called him anyway, but the point is he needs to say this stuff, right? So when because to me, right, Ferrari is just playing a PR game. There's internal politics going on there. This is a PR game. Sorry, Fabio, let me finish.
Sorry.
What's going on here is Binotto is trying to save his job. Right? Now, how often do these guys at Ferrari get changed? Fucking often. Binotto has been there and given Ferrari valuable input in the engineering department and the aero department, especially. All right? And so Ferrari, naturally, the board are backing Binotto. And my fear is that they're going to back him in this position because of his previous work at the company, not because of how bad a fucking leader he is. Right now, the more Leclerc says, I think this is what's good about my car. This is what's good about my car in this situation. This is what I think we need to do. Every time he gets overruled, right, that's a point back against Binotto's competence. All right, so that's just my point. No, it's a longer game. Yeah, the championship's gone, but I think Leclerc's got to look out for himself now. Go ahead.
So, funny enough, I don't think that Binotto's position is in any danger.
No,
because
I don't.
No, because
I don't either.
Because he's a very good technician. So,
yeah,
I mean, if everything fails, it will go back, drawing cars, and it's fantastic. So, I think that there is a clock of other people around him which are not competent enough, and I'm thinking about Mexier, I'm thinking about I can't remember the name of the strategist. I think he's a Japanese guy, but I can't remember the name. So this is where I think they're having some issues, and Binotto is doing what he can do. I don't like the guy, but I can understand why he's doing what he's doing, because he's trying to to corral to protect the herd, right? But not because he's afraid of his position. If they fire everybody on the pit wall, including him, he has a job. There is no question about that.
But he doesn't want to come across as being the guy that threw away the first championship that should have been Ferrari's in years.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. He's looking at it from the PR aspect, not necessarily. I don't think he cares about whether he gets paid the money or not, because he's probably rich enough as it is. Does he think Ferrari's going to fire him? No, that's the point. He doesn't think Ferrari are going to fire him. So what's he got to lose here, right? Not a lot.
No, but that's why I don't think. That's why I don't think it's a PR game. I think it's really. It's way simpler. It's really a stupid game. It's not a PR game, because he has no PR to defend. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he does. He does, Fabio. I just said he is the guy that led Ferrari to throwing away what should have been an almost guaranteed championship. The first guaranteed championship they've had in years. 15
Yeah,
years ago was the last one.
but
All right.
I mean,
All those
so
times Alonso came second, it was because it
no,
was Alonso in the car.
no, but okay. I'm trying to say something different. Maybe I'm
Okay.
not coming across. So, Binotto's job is not the job that he's actually doing, right? So if he fails, he can, people can always say that wasn't the right guy for the right place. It's the right guy for everything else because he built a fantastic car. It's just a problem of whoever put him in that place because it's not the right place. It's different like people like Domenicali or Arrivabene. Those two guys were not technicians. Those two guys were a sport manager, team manager. I can't even remember what the fuck. It's like Christian Horner, right? I mean, this is his job, and if he fails, like Toto. So if Toto fails at that job, he's done because that's his job. Binotto, that's not his job.
I agree.
They put him to do that job, but it's not his job. He's an engineer. He's going to be more than happy going back to a computer and making fantastic cars. That is not going to change his life. It's going to ruin the team at the championship.
He's going to ruin his reputation.
Yeah.
No? That's what I'm saying.
But he's going to ruin. This is the point I was trying to make, and maybe this is the disagreement. I understand, but he's going to ruin his reputation for a position that is not his position. He can always say, "Hey, you guys, you put me there. I'm an engineer. I've always been an engineer. I've always drove cars, and then you put me there. Yeah, what the fuck do you want from me?
Yeah.
I did it the best I could." So this is why I think it's more a stupid game than a PR game, which is even more infuriating if you ask me.
Okay, jolly good. So just a couple more to get through, I'm afraid, Fabio. We'll try and keep this one a little quicker.
Yes.
Verstappen said that he was supposed to start on hard tyres, but after using them to get to his spot at the start line, he said to Red Bull that he wanted soft tyres because they had no grip. So if that's the case, which I've no doubt, although they usually run to the grid on different tyres to the ones they start on.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then well done Verstappen, of course, for stating the fucking obvious. But nonetheless, well done.
I don't think
they were ever going to start on hard tyres.
No, but I think the change from medium tyres to soft tyres.
Soft. Yeah.
I don't think it started with.
That's more likely, admittedly.
Yeah.
And if I were getting a strategy together for Verstappen, knowing that he had the ability to overtake, although that's still a little bit undecided, but believing that he could overtake, I would have started him on the mediums as well. Starting him on soft tyres from way back there was definitely a gamble. Again, I think Red Bull just won the strategy game against Ferrari. I have to say it. There we are.
No,
Okay.
but it's true. I think the Verstappen started with the soft tyres. It's just that he get there on the medium tyres, and then he has to change on soft tyres. So this is what,
I agree with Fabio. Verstappen did 31 laps in the last stint with the medium tyres. So Sainz and Leclerc should have done something like 27 laps for the first stint. Yeah, I mean, obviously the situation is different beginning to end of race due to the weight of the fuel. And maybe Ferrari have some inside knowledge that both drivers complaining maybe that their tyres were graining. And then, realizing that Verstappen was likely to win the race. And again, this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. Realizing that Verstappen was going to win the race, it wasn't a bad idea to cover Verstappen with one of their cars. But, right? So maybe that's what was in their mind. But then that still doesn't make sense for...
It makes sense because you're opposite tyres, so... Yeah.
Sure, it doesn't make sense anyway because they put Leclerc onto hard tyres, so that's later on in the race. So it's still, once having decided not to cover Verstappen, it still didn't make sense to do that.
Right.
They could have just hedged their bets and gone soft, and then at least had the. In fact, I mean, I would have gone soft on the second stint, having seen the way they ran on the first. I would have gone soft on the second stint, seen how that ran, and maybe they
Right.
could have gone soft, right?
Yeah.
Medium, soft. I don't know. Who knows?
No, you're right. I mean, they should have made opposite as they started, but running the medium tires longer the way they were supposed to be run, right? So if you go 30 laps on medium and then you go soft, then you can go back on soft or whatever the fuck you have. It doesn't matter. But yeah.
Ferrari should have done 27 medium, then medium to 54, and then soft like Lewis did. Yeah, that would have been anything would have been a better strategy than going into the hard tyres, as was demonstrated by, several people up and down the pack, right at the back of the pack. Again, I don't understand it, but anyway, there you go. Maybe.
Actually, I think that they should have kept doing the opposite. They should have done medium, soft, medium, or medium, soft, soft, because they should have kept doing the opposite of Red Bull. To put pressure, that's what we're talking about. And one more thing, super brief, just to give more data to Bob Elvis. When Leclerc pitted at lap 40, he had I think he had 5.5 seconds on Sainz and 7.5 on Russell, or vice versa. I can't remember that. Now look at the at the finish line, how much, because I haven't got the data. You can check it out, so you can see how much time he lost. Right? He had
who lost? You mean
Leclerc.
Oh, Leclerc finished in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
so you
30,
got to subtract
40, 45, 50, about 50 seconds maybe.
Okay,
behind.
so you take away 30 seconds, for the pit change and all that shit, right? And actually it's more than like 20, but let's say 30 seconds.
Oh,
So
hang on a
you
minute.
take
Hang on. No, 16 seconds. Sorry.
It was 16 seconds behind?
Yeah, I think so. It's difficult to say exactly how they're doing this timing. Maybe
Right.
it's between the next one and the next one.
But anyway, regardless, the fact that he was 16 seconds behind,
Yeah.
he had 5.5 seconds on Sainz and 7.5 seconds on Russell.
Yeah.
Ahead. So he lost that plus the time that he arrived behind Russell and Sainz.
Yeah.
This is how much time he lost.
Yeah, I think Max slowed down right at the end anyway because he wanted to be safe when the rain was coming on the last lap as well.
Yeah, still.
I mean, again, easy race. Plus, he had that spin, right?
That
360 as well. So he lost some time there. I mean, again, I think we've been over it, right? Max won fair and square, no doubt about it. He had an excellent race, coming from 10th place on the grid to win first at Hungary. That's very Michael Schumacher, right? In dry conditions, and I'm just saying it is because it shows that he had such a great car. And so what happened to Ferrari on a track where downforce is king? I don't know. Don't know. I just don't know. Don't know what happened. And if it wasn't for, if it wasn't for Hamilton and Russell taking points off Perez, then I think the team championship would have been out of reach as well. All they can hope for now is that the rules come into play, and in fact, the FIA, and I know you're going to laugh at this, but the FIA enforce the cost cap and and then say to Red Bull that they can't come to the last few races because they've already extended their cost cap. I mean, just how fucking unlikely is that, right?
Well,
yeah, it's not going to happen, of course. They'll suddenly magically find a bit of money by sacking some people, Anyway, there you go. You're welcome, Bob. We really enjoy answering your questions, and I think you're right on everything you said. So, thank you once again. Okay. Thank you, Fabio. I'd like to bring on Peter now. Pit Lane Pete, are you there? Did you get to the track all right? Oh, wow, you found the luxury cottage that we booked for you.
I have no clue where I am. So after the race, I thought I'd explore the country a little, and so I rented a scooter, and I'm here. I have no clue where I am. I think that's probably because I got directions from someone from the Ferrari garage, but I have no clue. One thing though, I did want to come back to something that Fabio had said, because I didn't see that, and I found the picture, and I'm actually really surprised that no one saw it during the race, because there it is.
Yeah.
It is literally sticking out of the car. So,
Yeah.
and none of the commentators noticed, which I think is...
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody saw it actually. That's true. But it's not. It's not a small piece of
No.
plastic. I mean, because you can see it goes inside, it goes there. So I have no fucking idea. Yeah.
It literally comes
Yeah.
straight out again. So,
I
yeah,
mean,
so,
there's a couple of other things as well, which I just want to just mention quickly before we go on. Before you do your little bit,
Sure.
Which is to say, this would never happen in a team like Red Bull. I just got to say that, right? Occasionally, you get problems with like covering, the air covering, the vent covering things being left in. Occasionally, a car gets sent out and one of the engineers hasn't done his job, etc., etc. Occasionally, you get problems with. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Before you go on, I think I know what you're going, but that was something which was sucked up during the race.
Sure, but it still wasn't noticed. Why?
No,
Because there isn't anybody back at. Yeah, because there isn't anybody back at Maranello watching the feed, right? That's able to get message to Bonotto or to the team at the race circuit and say, "What the fuck is that on the side of the car?"
yeah,
Right now,
that's
Mercedes
what I
have
thought.
that.
Yeah.
Mercedes have that. Red Bull have that. Right? What the fuck is going on at Ferrari that they don't have people watching the feeds, taking notice of everything and feeding messages back? I have no idea.
I honestly don't know.
No idea.
The only thing I can say is that it's really weird because even on TV nobody noticed that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was.
Sorry, Fabio. Let me just interrupt you for a second there, Fabio. Which side is it on? It's the side that faces the pits every time the car goes.
No. Listen, I'm with you. I understand.
What
I
the
understand.
fuck? Okay,
understand.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't get it. I don't get it. And also, we just have to mention quickly as well the big news, which is to say that Vettel is retiring.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right? Vettel is retiring. He's pissed off with being in a shitty car, and all I can say is good luck to the person that has the big enough balls to take that place, which is Alonso.
Alonso, yeah.
Fucking Alonso. This is the old man territory now. It's the same thing that fucking Bottas did. It's the same thing that Raikkonen did. It's the same thing that Alonso is now doing. All I can say is I hope that paycheck is worth it, because you will have the piss taken out of you in the last year. And also, I know the real reason why Alonso signed. Shall I? The first person. This is the first. But I've spoken to Alonso tonight, just before coming on air, and he said the reason he's gone there is because because of the smell of my crack.
Yes.
There you go.
And also, he has nothing to do with those fucking French.
That's Mike Crack. Thank you. There you go. He agrees. He is the reason. Look at him. He's a beautiful smelling man. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead, Peter. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've got to get that out a little earlier.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, for me, it was a great weekend. I mean, in the weekend we had Vettel retiring, Latifi topping a session, Russell getting a pole, Verstappen did his victory donut during the race, and then we got Alonso going to Aston Martin. I mean, what else do you want? Do you want anything more in cramped in one weekend? And obviously, there's the sad news as well, because I have done the math, and going into the summer break, sadly, it's no longer mathematically it's no longer possible for Latifi to win the world championship. So that is a sad part of news. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, there was a lot.
Oh, Canada. Oh,
Yeah.
Canada.
I mean, so do you want to go to my part, because obviously it's going to be dominated.
Obviously, I don't, Peter. That's a stupid fucking question
Yes.
right there.
Yeah, it's going to be dominated by pretty much one and the same thing. So, but let's get it over with then. Yeah, it started off before the weekend. I think this is Ferrari suggesting that Leclerc go to a different sport, because they tweeted that he should go to football. I don't know. Then we get to this. Battery Voltas. Worth a follow on Twitter. Man who thought he'd lost all hope loses last additional bit of hope he didn't even know he still had. Which, pretty much, I mean, I feel for the guy. I'm still a Hamilton fan, but I feel for Leclerc. He doesn't deserve something like this. So, this is another one. Worst strategy call of the year. And then Binotto coming to correct him. The worst strategy call of the year so far. So that is, and all of these, I have to say, come from Italian Twitter accounts. So there is that. Alpine missing the strategy, going for hard tires. Meanwhile, Ferrari, and they used Mr. Bean for this one, which set a trend. Actually, after the race, because there was this Mattia Binotto, and there were people who were a little bit more harsh, and they tweeted this. And then obviously you have the Ferrari strategist. Do I really look like a guy with a plan? It's pretty much a circus, and then obviously you get things like
Still
this.
those tyres falling off the cliff as Mattia Binotto, not for the first time of the season, walks off the pit wall to the back of the garage before the end of this race.
Okay, so then we had this guy, depressed Tipsy. He said tires that would have been faster than the hards on Ferrari. So first the Bridgestone. The second one is really surprising, because that is from a Ford Model A, and I actually have one of those wheels. So I might be fitting those to my car. And then the third one is absolutely my favorite. That would have gone faster than the white tire. Okay, so another thing is a nice move from Red Bull. A Red Bull inviting Ferrari strategy director Inaki Rueda to the podium ceremony, because Red Bull said we couldn't have done it without him. So, and Fabio, there's your name. You were struggling with the name. Inaki Rueda. Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the thing with Alonso.
A very Japanese-looking man, if ever I saw one.
Yeah. Alonso, again, battery voltas. Bad career choices make you stronger. Fernando Alonso. I thought that was quite cool as well. Yeah, then last but not least, this was picked up by a camera in a phone. After the summer break, we'll do the opposite of what the strategist said, or we'll go on strike, okay? So I think that pretty much sums everything up for this weekend. And yeah, one other thing that Bubblefist mentioned, it was actually Verstappen who said, because he was supposed to start on the hard tires, and he did make the call during his run-up to the grid, saying that he did not want to have the hard tires on because they wouldn't work. So that is correct. That was picked up by I think by one of the Dutch commentators. Not entirely sure.
I think I think I saw Verstappen getting on the grid with yellow tires, but anyway, it's not really.
Well, he made the call while he was driving to his grid spot. So that was confirmed.
Yeah, but he was driving on medium tires,
Yes.
not on hard tires.
No, but he was. They planned him to start on the hard tires. That was Red Bull's plan, to start him on the hard tires, and he said he didn't want those. But yeah. So.
Okay, good. So he stated the obvious. Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm glad. Glad the boy. Don't see why. Anyway.
But I agree.
If that's the case, then fuck Red Bull's strategy. Oh my god.
I agree with you though,
Jesus
Simon, that
Christ.
I think Leclerc should have a little bit more confidence in himself, and when he gets a call, he should just refuse to do those tires or to
Oh
make
no,
a pit.
I didn't say he should. I didn't say he should refuse. I mean, that's not the way it goes.
Well,
It's a question of dialogue, but he should say what he prefers, and
Yeah.
then when the team do otherwise, it's obvious that it's the team that's fucking up and not him.
yeah, but
And
we've
he's
seen
not complicit in the fuck up.
we've seen Verstappen say no when they said, okay, box, and he said no. It
Yeah.
has happened. So I think
Sure, that's a slightly different thing, but yeah, no, I agree. Drivers, say their preference, but at the end of the day, as we've seen from Lewis, who is, very much, obviously the experienced man, when they say no, box, right? He ends up going, okay, if that's what you're saying, then that's what you're saying. But I think otherwise, and that's what I'm saying Leclerc should be doing. But anyway, Leclerc's still young. He's still, in his early career, and he's at the biggest team in Formula One.
yeah, but
So
yet
I understand that it's much more complex than just sitting there going, "Oh no, actually, I think these tires are fine." Lewis has that ability to do that because he became an expert in saving tires when they first moved to Pirelli tires, right? And so clearly he has he understands how they wear. Leclerc may not. He hasn't had the same experience on Pirelli tires that Lewis has had to have and had to learn, which is more the important point.
yeah, but
Anyway,
so
yeah.
I'm looking at the rest of the weekend where the hard tires didn't work. I think that Leclerc would have known that the hard tires were not going to work, and that is something that he could have brought up.
Ferrari didn't run them. Yeah, Ferrari didn't run them all weekend. That was the first time they'd been on a Ferrari car all weekend. It's other people that they should have taken note of. But anyway, there you go. Look, I mean, what can we say? Another strategy error from Ferrari this year. And, hopefully this will lead to greater strategy calls next year because, they'll take the big strategy call at the end of this year and sack the guy that's telling them to fucking do all of these strategy calls.
Can I just point out one last thing? Sorry, because
Please do.
it boggles my mind. I just read what Toto Wolff said, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I hope you guys can explain it to me. So this is verbatim. Asked by Sky Sports F1 if Mercedes have been left scratching their heads when Ferrari put Leclerc onto the hard tires, Wolff replied, I think they had no option. They had only hard and soft left, and for the soft it was too early, so only the hard. I think the mistake happened Friday or Saturday not to carry over a new medium. Now, I'm gonna calmly take away my glasses and put them aside, right? So does Toto Wolff fucking remembers that they have to change at least 1 compound of tires, and Ferrari already changed 2 medium. So what? So his mistake was that they didn't carry another set of medium because he wanted to, Ferrari to change medium 3 times, and then eventually the soft. I mean,
no, it's just in his brain. The translation to English don't work so well. So I think what he's saying is, if they had a fresh set of mediums, they would have used a hard on Friday. They would have found out that the hard didn't work. So that's what they should have done, because they had to use a medium, right? Which was already.
Listen. You would be. I understand what you're saying,
okay,
and I agree with you. My main problem is that when he had the last line and he said, I think the mistake happened Friday or Saturday, not to carry over a new medium tire.
Yeah.
So this is where I think, his brain just farts.
If they'd had a new medium, I think they would have got a lot further in the race, and then they could have put it onto soft. So both ways round. I think in his mind, it probably seemed like logical at the time, although, as I say, the English translation is not so good, admittedly. But there we go.
Does he speak?
Oh, hang on, Bob says, good comment from Bob. Let me just put it up here before you carry on. That's okay. That's all right. Toto Loco. Very true, Bob. Very true.
Does Toto speak German with Sky TV in England?
No, he speaks English. He speaks very good English as well.
Okay. Yeah. Because he speaks Italian when interviewed by Italian ones. I think,
Jesus Christ, that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, he's one of those. Yeah.
He's one of those.
Okay. He's a man management. What can you say? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. He's not Binotto, So there you go.
Okay.
There's one.
Okay, well, there we go.
There's one other thing that I did want to mention. They did some research. Because of they want the changes done for the porpoising, and the research has come out that if you have anywhere between 1 and 2 hertz for half an hour, that will cause brain damage. The drivers are experiencing between 6 and 7 hertz for several hours a weekend. And this is why probably the FIA is going to push forward and start addressing the porpoising, because it is it could literally cause brain damage to the drivers if they keep this up.
Sure. Yeah. No more than Binotto does to most of the Italian race, but there we are. Also, just to point this out. Way back, all right, we said, I think as a conclusion, we all said, but I specifically said, the only thing they can do is raise the min ride height. And that will end up being the solution, by the way.
Yeah, which I think, on that aspect, I have to agree with Christian Horner, by the way.
Yeah, of course, who wouldn't?
I mean,
they won't, and because of that, they won't do it till next year. Because they don't.
No, they're starting to make some changes in Spa.
Yeah, but that's just to do with the speed at which they go. The porpoising happens.
Anyway, they're going to change. They're going to change the flex limits of the skid. So it's quite complicated. So we don't have time to explain it. But apparently they measure the flex at one point, and they measure at the front. And the bottom, basically, they don't measure the flex, so that's why Ferrari and Red Bull are riding way lower than all the other cars, and they have less problems. So.
Yeah, okay. So there was a moment after the race where Verstappen and Hamilton had a laugh about the hard tire choice. It's not just them either.
It was in the cool down room actually, where Hamilton asked Verstappen, did they put him on the hard tires? And then the other two both laughed and said, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, apparently Buster also took the piss out of Leclerc as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can, if that is any consolation to Bob Elvis, The moment of me laughing about the tire choice started at lap 21. So yeah, way before the end of the race.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Well, look, thank you very much, guys. We're
Yeah.
going to end it there. That's the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's not quite an hour this time, so I think that suits, because unlike the Hungarian Grand Prix that went on far too long, we aren't going to.
Not
So
quite.
thank you both
Not
for
quite
being
an
there.
hour.
We really, really appreciate you.
An hour and 15 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Before we go, sorry, I have to remember this. I made a note that I have to say this. Next race is going to be in Spa. There's going to be, what, 2 or 3 weeks period?
4 weeks, I think. Jeez.
Yeah.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
Yeah, 26th of August, I think. So
Yeah.
I
28
just
season.
want everybody to remember who made the fastest lap last year in Spa. Or actually, it was 2 years ago. They didn't race in Spa last year, isn't it?
I think it was last year, actually.
Yeah, they made 3
where they
laps.
had the rain. Who was it again? I can't remember. It was somebody right at the back.
And
It was the
today,
driver, which
Today,
is
hold
not-
on. Today, I deleted that graphic because I thought we're not going to use that anymore. I deleted that
And you
graphic.
were wrong. And
Yeah,
you were
I
wrong
was
because
wrong.
we are going to use it every year before Spa.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
to remember who made the fastest lap 2021. It will be in the books, and it's Nikita Mazepin, right? So that just remember. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Sponsored by Elton John, of course. That
Yes.
famous song. Right. Thank you so much, guys. That was amazing. Thank you, Bub, for being in the audience. We always appreciate you, of course. Thank you. And we shall see you in 4 weeks' time
Yes.
for the Spa. Probably going to be one of the last times we go to Spa. So hopefully we will all enjoy it, and hopefully the weather will be great. Hungary, yeah. I'm going to be hungry for weeks now. That's all I can say. in the anticipation that Ferrari can get their shit together, and yeah, best car needs the best strategist. Who'd have thought?
Bubble
Thank
Fish
you very
said
much, everyone.
4 weeks is an eternity. I agree.
Yeah, of course.
So-
Ciao.
See you later.
Ciao.